The sun was high over the pondside lodge, casting shimmering reflections across the calm waters as I reviewed the property's operations. It had been a long morning of inspections, ensuring that every structure, irrigation system, and livestock enclosure functioned seamlessly. However, a troubling report arrived. The HOA had razed one of my lodges because I had not settled a penalty they imposed. The audacity was staggering, an act of overreach that disregarded both property rights and legal oversight. Yet, the situation was more complex than it appeared. Unbeknownst to them, I had acquired ownership of the entire basin surrounding the lodge, a move that ensured the farm's sovereignty and rendered their actions both ineffective and symbolic at best. I arrived at the site to survey the damage. The lodge, partially destroyed, was a stark reminder of Karen's persistence and the HOA's willingness to act without authority. However, the acquisition of the basin changed the dynamics entirely. Any interference by the HOA now encroached upon land legally under my control, and the consequences of continued intrusion were far greater than they had imagined. The lodge could be rebuilt, fortified, or repurposed at will, while the basin's control provided both strategic and legal leverage. Rather than reacting impulsively, I began a meticulous assessment of the damage and the surrounding infrastructure. Every structural compromise, every breach in the perimeter, and every potential vulnerability was cataloged. Simultaneously, I planned strategic measures to prevent future unauthorized interference. Legal documentation, reinforced barriers, and monitoring systems were all updated to reflect the new ownership and to ensure that any subsequent attempts by the HOA would be clearly illegal and actionable. Throughout the day, I coordinated the restoration and reinforcement of the property. Materials were brought in, repairs commenced, and temporary measures ensured that livestock, irrigation, and operational systems remained uninterrupted. The lodge, though razed, was not a loss. It was an opportunity to demonstrate resilience, preparation, and the futility of the HOA's audacity. Every plank replaced, every beam reinforced, and every barrier installed was both a practical measure and a statement of sovereignty. Karen's involvement, though persistent, had little effect. Her attempts to impose penalties or disrupt operations collided with the reality of legal ownership and preparation. The basin's acquisition ensured that any further action on her part could be met with both legal consequences and operational countermeasures. Her interference, bold but uninformed, had inadvertently strengthened the farm's strategic position. By evening, the property was fully stabilized. The lodge's exterior had been fortified, temporary measures ensured security, and the operational systems of the farm were fully functional. The pond reflected the warm hues of sunset, the fields remained orderly, and the surrounding structures stood as testaments to careful planning and resilience. The HOA's audacity had been neutralized, and their attempted interference reduced to a symbolic act devoid of actual influence. Throughout the incident, meticulous records were maintained. Every aspect of the HOA's intervention, the lodge's razing, and the subsequent restoration was documented, providing irrefutable evidence of overreach and demonstrating the farm's strategic oversight. Preparation, foresight, and legal authority ensured that sovereignty remained intact, and any future attempts at interference would face immediate and decisive consequences. As night fell, the pondside lodge, the surrounding fields, and the newly acquired basin reflected both resilience and control. The HOA's intrusion had failed, leaving behind only evidence of audacity confronted with preparation and lawful authority. The farm's sovereignty had been reaffirmed, demonstrating that even bold attempts at interference cannot prevail against knowledge, planning, and strategic oversight. By the end of the day, the lesson was unmistakable. Intrusion without understanding, preparation, or legal authority is powerless. The lodge could be rebuilt, the basin secured, and every future challenge anticipated and mitigated. The farm, its structures, and its operations remained untouchable, sovereign, and fully protected, a testament to the enduring power of foresight, preparation, and strategic management.